All right. Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to Rise and Shine. My name is Coach Lacey. Be sure to hit the subscribe button and ding that bell for future updates to be notified. And if you haven't already anchored into your wellness foundations today, jump into the group on Facebook, Rise and Shine with Morning Moon, and anchor into your foundations with the Morning Foundations checklist. It is Tuesday, May 6th, and I'm feeling it today. I'm feeling it. I don't know about you, but sometimes I feel those moments of, drumroll please, existential dread. Existential dread. The void, going into the void. I don't know if any of you out there ever feel this, but sometimes life feels like shit. And sometimes you're going through things and you kind of wonder what the F is really going on. And it's like this deep sinking feeling, a hollow, deep soul ache that just creeps in when things are feeling a little heavy, right? Or just like chaotic, or even just plain unfair, those moments of feeling generally disconnected, the feeling of just existential dread setting in, the void, jumping into the void, that feeling of being disconnected from people, from God, from purpose, those moments when you just look around and you think to yourself, does any of this actually matter? Is anybody listening? Hello. What's out there? Why? The why. Yeah. I feel it. I feel it. You are not alone. And I battle with homesickness always. I moved out, I moved away from my home state when I was 20 years old, away from everything I've ever known and loved, away from my family, away from everything. And I moved out here to be closer to my father and my siblings, which now they're all dispersed, and I'm not close to anybody anymore. And I have these moments of homesickness because my home is about 20, I'd say actually about 17 hours away. So, of a drive. It's a 17-hour drive to get home to see my parents. And I almost 40. I've lived here since I was 20, and I have been feeling really, really homesick lately, and that's not unusual for me, but it usually hits harder in the spring, like when the summer months start to come, because I know that it's time to visit, and my cycle here is ending. I can feel it. I can feel that my time in the state I'm currently in, the tyrannical state of Washington, I am nearing the descent of going home. And I feel that. And with that feeling is this existential dread. And um when I'm going through things, I have these feelings creep in, and we've been having some family drama lately that has left me feeling really, really emotionally low and stuck and raw and well, not stuck, but emotionally raw. And um after going through so many moments of chaos and loss and grief and change, I hit a point, you guys. I hit a point with this last event that was just like, I'm done. Like, I can't handle any more heartache. And that's when that, like, it's like the eye of the storm. It's like the eye of the tornado. It hits you. Um, the existential dread is like that quiet. And it's like, what do you do with that? Right? Like, what do you do with that? You can always own your own part in the story. I'm owning my part. And I'm not blameless, of course. We're never blameless in chaos, but sometimes we are. But in most situations, when it comes to connecting with people, places, and things, we have our part that we play. And, we've had that drama in our house, and I've played my part, and I'm owning that, and I always try to. But in this situation, the other person's lack of perspective has actually just been staggering, staggering. And I get it, they're young, and they don't have the life experience to understand the weight that decisions and choices carry and words carry. And I remember you know, being young, I thinking I knew it all, thinking I knew all the answers, and until life came and humbled me, and now I'm a year out from, like, 6 months out from 40, and I look around and I realize how much I actually don't know. It shocks me how much I do not know. And the more I learn, the more I'm in awe of what I don't understand. And that really is just the paradox in growth, right? Like, that's just the flow of the way that growth goes. And there's this awe and wow, like you hit this point, you're like, I really just, I don't know shit about fuck, and I never have. And like, you really just have that moment, and sometimes in those dark moments of realization, they can be dark, they can be, they can be, it can be the ebb and flow. But sometimes when we're exhausted by people and overwhelmed by the noise and feeling betrayed, um, you get caught in the spiral of existential dread and the void. And, it's that the chatter in your head, the self-talk that you have to really grab and correct, those questions you ask yourselves, like for example, for this show, I get on every day and I think, is anybody even watching? Like, does anybody care? Does this even matter? Like, is anybody listening? Am I just deluding myself into thinking that I'm called into something bigger? Right? I have those questions every day. And, and then it's funny because I'll go outside and my neighbor will say, hey, I watched your shows, really helpful. Or I have a message, hey, I watched your show, it was really helpful. Or I, run into someone, out and about, and they say, hey, I watched your show. And it's just like that one person that watched it, like I can help that one person. If I can get outside of myself and the way that I'm feeling, then that matters, right? But it's that spiritual void that shows up, it's totally uninvited. It's suddenly you're just floating in this like suspended animation alone and questioning everything. You could be in a sea of people and still feel completely alone, questioning everything, But you have to catch yourself, and you have to remember that you do have a calling on your life and there is a divine design, And I catch myself all the time. I have these moments of existential dread, and ever since my brother killed himself, I I believe that suicide survivors and those of us who are left behind, not left behind, but those of us who witness the tragedy of suicide for someone who's very close to us, I believe that we experience um, a void of epic proportions that some don't understand. I mean, like, it's almost like a virus that you catch, that someone you love kills themselves, and then you start to wonder if maybe you should kill yourself too. And I've been in that, and I've had those seasons. And I'm not saying I feel that way right now, but I've had these attempts, and I've had these moments, where I just feel like, what the fuck is the point? Like, why? Like, what? Like, what? Like, what? Like, lately, I don't feel like that, but I feel like, what the fuck is, why? Like, what is the point of all of this stuff? Like, what? Like, and I try to see the bigger picture, and, um, sometimes it's not revealed until later on, right? Until years down the line, and you're like, well, shit. And it's not always what we want it to be, but we have to catch ourselves and not go into this existential dread and the spiral of the void and the calling of the void and this lie that's we tell ourselves. And those of us who have the virus of existential dread, I guess, and carrying that torch from those who decided to self-select out in a momentary lapse of reason, we have a darkness that, we have to really fight. And we just have to count our blessings, and so really, and get outside of ourselves. So I start counting my blessings when I start feeling this way, not just the pretty obvious ones, but I count the nitty gritty painful lessons that force me to grow. you know think about the nights you don't give up even though you want to. Think about the mornings that you still get up and you do the thing, even though you're tired and you're over it, right? Like, sometimes we're just over it. We have to count those blessings and those moments where things didn't work out the way that we thought we wanted them to, but they worked out anyways. I think about that a lot. I think about, the moment where my dog died, and it was just devastating to find him dead on the floor, due to some of my own, like, negligence, and not even my negligence, but just my not knowing, my ignorance. And so there's a weight that gets carried with that. And you just have to, like, but I had to see the glimmers, right? We talked about glimmers and finding the glimmers, like when the nothing comes in and the void comes and the nothing sweeps over, we find the glimmers, right? Like on Never Ending Story. And the glimmer in my dog passing was that I got my dog now. I would have never in a million years had two dogs because I just don't have the space for it in my home. So having the dog that I have now is like, I loved my other dog, but like, this dog I have now, we're gonna have him a lot longer. We got our other dog when he was old, and like, he's just a joy. Like, we've had him since he was a puppy, as our baby. So sometimes there's sweetness in that bitter, that bitter flavor. And there's it's life is just that's just the way it is. But we have to count our blessings. And when you're walking through a hard season and your mind is just full of static and bullshit, that is the most vital time to lean in to your walk with the Holy Spirit. And don't let the noise drown out your faith, and sit in stillness and ask God to show you what this moment is for, whatever that means to you. I'm not here trying to preach from a pedestal. If you're new to me and you're caught up in your new age world or whatever, like, that's your thing. That's not my thing. I was there once too, but I'm not in living in that world anymore. I have a new perspective, and I've been renewed in my mind and in my heart. And for me, when I talk about the Holy Spirit, Jesus Christ, and God, I have been renewed in that spirit. And that is what has saved me from these moments of existential dread. So if that's the verbiage that you're gonna repel when I'm talking, I encourage you to frame it in a way that you can use it to work for you, because we're all on a journey. I was in that place once too, and we're all still growing. And so I'm here to speak to everyone. Just lean into your faith and ask God to show you what that moment is for, because the seasons of chaos, you know, they're gonna come. The tornado will come, and but it's refining. The fires will come, but it's a refining fire. If you let them, they will transform you. These chaotic moments will transform you. And I've been feeling the weight of, like, lately, I've been feeling the weight of just feeling too much, like feeling like I'm too much. And I'm very polarizing human. Either, like in my town, you either love me or you hate me. On the internet, you love me or you hate me. My family either love me or you hate me. And the ones who usually hate me um actually pretend to love me and be my friend for a really long time, and get close and then twist the knife in my back. And I am really, really tired of picking up snakes and getting bit, thinking that they're, not gonna bite me. And I just don't have very many close friends anymore because of stuff like this. And I'm not close to very many people anymore. But the people that I do am close with, I cherish them. I cherish them like gold. I thank God for them. The people in my life who've stood by me through every season, and who have had conflict with me, but have had the fortitude to come out and say, hey, let's fix this. Hey, I was wrong, you were wrong. Let's let's come together. Those people I cherish like gold, man, like for sure. And it's sad though, it's I thank God for those people, but it's sad when you have people who are family, friends, whatever, especially family, when you realize you can't even fully trust your own family not to poison your well, to poison your water, to bite you, you know. And so that's hard, that's pain, and that's more grief. It's more grief that we're dealing with. It's a lifelong journey of grief, really. I mean, it's what it is. But we can't stay parked in that grief, and we can't stay parked in that sadness. It's real. It's real, man. I feel it. I've been feeling it a lot lately, and so you're probably watching me being like, "Oh my God, what's on Daisy?" I'm like I'm going through some stuff, and I've been going through some stuff for like a year now, and people, I don't talk to people about it, and this is my way of working through it. And parents out there of teenagers and new adults, like y'all, you guys know, you feel it, you get it. Like there's a grieving process that happens when you become um when your kid transitions, and when you become an empty nester or whatever, and there's things that you can't control, and moments that happen, and it seems to be universal, but it's heart-wrenching, and it's just another period of grief, as if we don't have enough of that in our lives, right? And we have to get through it, and tomorrow's a new day, and we just have to lean into what is beautiful, and when you're in the place, the loneliness, the dread, the void, you just have to anchor into the love that you do have, the beauty in your life, the dog that greets you with joy, the sun that rises and hits your face, the laughter that you share with your partner, the quiet cup of coffee that just hits right in the morning, and just lean into that. God's not done with you. God's not done with you. It doesn't matter what season of chaos you're going through. God's not done with you. You're just learning lessons. And tomorrow's a new day. And even if today feels heavy, you'll rise again, you'll shine again, and you got to anchor into your daily wellness foundations so that you are firm and you can stand firm when chaos ensues. And then you can just anchor into your habits, into your journaling. I anchor into my journaling. I anchor into my Bible study. I anchor into my writing. I used to be really anchored into my fitness, and that's been wavering lately. And you'll have seasons. You'll have seasons where you might not be as active, or you'll have seasons where you might not have as clean a diet or whatever. But that's okay. That's okay as long as you're doing the thing, as long as you're making an effort, a conscious, concerted effort to show up and do one thing every day that builds your foundation. That's all you have to do. And if you feel like your spirit is just too tired and weary to rise for yourself, go rise for someone else, man. Like go do something for somebody else. Go help someone. Go pet a dog, like go help the Humane Society. They need help. Go hug a kid, go call your grandma. Do something that pours love back into the world, because I promise you, once you pour back in, it will start to refill your cup too. You're not alone. Your feelings are valid. And you're calling there's a divine design and a calling on your life, and it still stands even when you don't feel it. That's when it especially stands, is when you don't feel it. That's when we need to lean in and do the thing more, is when we don't feel like it. That's what separates the greats. People that do great things show up even when they don't want to, you know? So anchor in, not into the drama, not into the pain, but into your wellness foundations and into your faith and into your walk. Anchor in. And if all else fails, go do something nice for someone else. Go do something kind for another living being. It makes a difference. It's always a good place to start. Go enjoy the sunshine. So anchor in today, you guys. Rise and shine. It's Tuesday. It's a new week. It's a new day. Life can be dreadful. but it's also beautiful. It's equally as beautiful as it is dreadful. So go enjoy the beauty. And if you're finding yourself in a moment of dread, try to reframe and switch the thoughts. What I do when I'm in these moments of dread, and if I am not able to journal it out or think it out or like gratitude it out or craft it out as far, like doing art, I go and I move. Motion changes emotion. So if you change your state, you have to change your state. If you can't think your way out of it, go change your state. Dance, go exercise, go for a walk, go take a shower, do something. Like break the state you're in. In order to get out of that, you need to move your body because that will disrupt whatever is going on there. So if you can't do anything today and you just feel heavy and the dread's setting in and you couldn't even bear to go do something for someone else, go move your body. Go get up, go for a walk. Very simple. Very simple. It will help change your state. Go for a walk, do something nice for someone, and then you know, anchor into your wellness foundations, one thing at a time, one bite, one breath, one step at a time, as one of my mentors, Dr. Allegra Hart, used to say. It's so true. It's all you can do. So I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful Tuesday, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Don't get caught in the rabbit hole of existential dread, my friends. Ciao.